This is a story of Louis the Fly, and how he met his tragic end. It's also the story of Dino, the donkey, who is still happily working away on the island of Santorini in the Greek islands. Very happily. Now, I'll show you how persistence can be bad. And I will also show you how stubbornness can be good for you. You would think it would be the other way around, but I'll clearly illustrate to you that this is not the case. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, let's start with Louis the Fly. Believe it or not, when I observed Louis, I learned something. Now, Louis's end wasn't the result of a can of Mortine. Let me explain the unfortunate circumstances, what occurred on that particular day. On that particular day, Louis the Fly displayed certain human qualities and traits that we would all be proud of. Louis the Fly, tragically, also made a very, very serious and bad decision. This is what happened. There I was at home on a hot summer's day, enjoying a cool glass of Sauv Blanc, beautiful, chilled, and also reading a book. And out of the corner of my eye, I noticed a life and death struggle taking place only a few metres away. There was a fly desperately trying to escape to freedom. It wanted to get out. And what it did, it circled around and went bang against the glass. It didn't see the glass, it's an insect. It hit the glass, slid down to the windowsill. It seemed to recollect itself, reconfigure, and then get its wings whirring again, did another loop, and bang, straight into the glass again. Same result. Slid down, and poor Louis, as you know and can understand, was never ever going to break through that glass. Yet he was persistent. Number one quality of a human being, which is really important, be persistent. Of course, Louis was very positive. He was determined to get out, so that's why he was persistent. And of course, that sheer determination enabled him to continually try again. But Louis was destined to die. Strangely enough, only a few metres away from the glass window, there was an open doorway. And Louis could have easily flown out the door, which was open. But because Louis the Fly was so focused and determined to get out, he just continued to do the same thing time and time again. Interestingly enough, while he was in the room, he was sitting on one of my favourite books. And I'm sure that most of you would have heard of the book, Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. There was the Fly sitting on this book and then extolling the virtues of the book. Quite incredible. And also the other book that he sat on was the famous quotes of Winston Churchill: never, ever, ever, ever give up. And that's exactly what poor Louis was doing. However, sometimes we need to change and do things slightly differently. We need to take a different approach. Louis, on this occasion, didn't do it, and that's why he didn't survive. In contrast to Louis' demise, let me tell you about Dino the donkey. that I saw in Santorini. How many of you people have been to Santorini? Okay, we've got a few, all right? When you disembark from your luxury cruise liner, you are down on the bottom and you have to go up the hill. How do you get up the hill? You can either walk or you can be taken up by a donkey. Well, there's probably some other way, but I didn't see it. Anyway, while I was deciding on which way to go, up by donkey or walking, I observed Dino the donkey. And there's a great big, how should I put it diplomatically, fat lady climbing onto Dino's back. And Dino sort of swished his head and sort of moved his lips, and I thought I could interpret what he was saying. He said, "You've got to be joking." I'm sure that's what he was thinking. Anyway, all the other donkeys started moving up to the top, up to Santorini. Dino did not move. He just stood there. Irrespective, the owner came over and whacked it on the butt and started pushing it, doing everything possible. Dino would not budge. He was a very intelligent mule. He was a smart donkey. Irrespective of what happened, he wouldn't move. Anyway, the big lady, I've got to be diplomatic, jumped onto another donkey which was less experienced and less intelligent, and off they went. Now, Dino was smart enough to realise that if he didn't change his thought processes and make a different decision, it would probably kill him. And it probably would. He didn't want to take up that big lady. He knew it was impossible. And it's important to understand that these events happen to all of us on a regular basis, that we have to make different decisions. Are we going to be persistent or are we going to be stubborn? These situations confront us every day, and we have to make those decisions in our own lives. It happens to all of us. It will happen to you tomorrow. You have to make the right decision. But it's interesting to understand what you can learn from observing animals and insects. Madam Toastmaster.